7-kilometer loop. The bus leaves, it takes you everywhere you need to go unless you want to walk. Starting here at the main station, we go to the nocturnal house first, I think, and then a woodland walk feeding the wallabies, and then work your way all the way around.
But if you guys are heading to one of our shows this morning, we do have our Wallaby Muster happening in just about 5 minutes time, so don't worry, we'll have plenty of time to get there. Or if you would like to stay on board, you can come around and do the dingo talk with us from the train. So either way, you have a choice. But both of those animals are available to see throughout the day. So if you're choosing one or the other, don't panic. It's not like you're missing out too much. You will be able to see both. Alrighty. We'll head off. So my name is Kirsten. I'll be one of your main train drivers today if you jump on. But I am an experienced zookeeper and a tour guide. So if you have any questions about the exhibits, about the shows, or just about Darwin and our environment in general, please come and ask. With our trains, they will be going every half an hour throughout the day, and because it's a weekend, we're probably going to have both trains running. So if we're full, or especially those of you with prams and little kids, don't panic. We generally will have both of them going at the same time, so we'll have plenty of room for all of you. If you're unsure of our shows today as well, they should be on your maps. There's a little list on one of the sections there that'll show you what shows we have on today. Now our park here is 400 hectares of natural bushland, so there's multiple environments that you will see as we drive around throughout the day, and that's where our different exhibits have been put through them as well. So trying to replicate the natural habitats that you can find throughout the top end. And of course, all the animals you see today, there's plenty of weird, wonderful animals, and all of those are ones you find naturally up here in the top end. Many of our species are actually endemic. So if you don't know what endemic means, it means you can only find them here in this specific area. So our first stop is going to be the Nocturnal House, and in fact that's where our Wallaby Muster is this morning. So if you want to go and say hi to the Wallabies, you can give them a bit of a cuddle and a pat, help give them some breakfast. That's going to be happening just at our Wallaby Muster. So I'm going to actually stop you just slightly up at the shorter walk, just to save your legs. We know for the tourists it is quite hot here. So the Wallaby Muster is just going to be on the left side of the train, and if you take that pathway up to the left, you can go and see them up there.
Very dark in here, but it looks quite light on the camera. Lynn's in front of me. I can't actually see her, I only see her on the camera. That's how dark it is in here.
They're flying up there. They're flying up there.
A little owl?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you see that? Yeah. Okay. You can see a lot in the camera.
Yeah, it shows up much better on the camera.
Yeah, you see that? Yeah.
What? How the hell are you? Oh, what's that?
What's that? Is that? How do you call it?
I don't know.
Huh?
Narbalek.
Nah black. Nah black. What do you call nah black?
Then
Only one in here, yeah? Oh, เม่นค่ะเม่น
what's that?
เม่นค่ะ
Like a porcupine thing?
porcupine อ่ะ
Maybe.
แย่นี่คือตัวเม่นค่ะ เห็นไหม
I think it is. Yeah.
กำลังเดิน ก็เหมือนเขาคิดว่าเขาอยู่ตอนกลางคืน
Oh. Oh, is that a wallaby or something? I don't want to miss the wallabies outside. Don't know.
No idea. I don't see anything. Hardly to see anything in here.
What's this like?
No, I'm not seeing anything. That's empty. Be somewhere. Oh, here. Shit.
Oh.
In the front of me.
Salamander kind of thing.
แหม
Skink.
ทำสีกลมกลืนมา They make the color it look similar the drop
Mm.
yeah but another one here too very smart you not see that
Frogs, yeah.
oh this oh yeah yeah too green
Where?
yeah yeah sit
Oh,
there
yeah. You're the one to spot them all. Donut.
the knot what the knot
I don't know.
the knot ohนั่นจิ้มเดี๋ยวจำcome here baby she looks lovely
Then.
oh
Then. Hmm?
you see that
What is that?
it's kind of like a
Like
bat.
a flying squirrel looking
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Yes.
Oh, look. Glider.
Yeah.
Savannah glider.
So cool.
I don't know. Oh, look. These birds are everywhere around Darwin.
Yeah.
Running around everywhere. Death adder.
Snakes.
Don't see it.
No.
I'll probably spot it later on the camera. At home. If it's in there. Let's go. Quite big, isn't it? Fish? Oh, I didn't see it. Spider?
No, that.
Oh, Christ. You're pretty good at spotting these. Woodland Walk is where we're going next. Just found the Woodland Walk. This is where supposedly there's wallabies walking around you can feed and...
Oh, you find from a tree or
What?
where we find it? So cute. Hey. You want that? I take the.
You recorded this?
Yeah.
It's already recorded.
Yeah.
Nice shaded walk down to the Billabong.
Yeah. It's cute. Yeah. You want to go another one over there? And Pinky over there too. Yeah. There you go.
No, for the rock thing, I think. But then the recent one, yeah, the travel routes, these things, they're actually about 40 grand. And when they're in caretaker mode, going around to communities and stuff. Like, yeah.
It just seems weird using cover brace. Yeah, it's so close. I was like, that doesn't seem right.
Best of my knowledge, I've been told.
Sit there. Quite cool, eh?
Hmm.
Thank you.
Oh.
Come on. You want some? Yum yum yum. Just your carrot. Yeah.
And we'll swing around to go and feed the buffalo. So whichever one you do choose, the next train will come around and it will take you to our flight deck presentation. So that is our main show, so the bird show, so definitely get along to that. So that will be on the following train. So whatever you choose now, you can do that show. So we started driving into our monsoon forest now. So it's a little bit more green, and that's because this place gets water all year round. Now I'm going to pull up at the Billabong here, but do stay on board because the next stop is for the Pelican Brekkie. So I'll just pick these people up, but do stay on board for the Pelican Brekkie is the next stop.
You stay here. We're gonna try you Billabong first, and then after that we come back. We go to Ulu Sandbar and this one, and then we have something to show you around. Okay, let's go. Where are you going?
This is a billabong.
Pelican that will go down to New Zealand.
They got turtle too.
Really? Oh yeah.
And some big fish here too. Yeah, you see the fish?
No.
Well, they are capable of eating fish much larger than this. Yeah, there's about 15 we think. So they're only freshies in here, so we've got a fence around the entire billabong because Darwin Harbour's only a couple of kilometres that way. And if we get a really good wet season and a good rain, that this whole area can go underwater. So it connects all of the waterways. So obviously we need to keep salties out. So yeah, in the wet season, the water's usually lapping right at the edge here. If we have to, occasionally we'll have to close the plant for a few days if everything's underwater, and we've got a little boat over there to come and feed the pelicans. So still no salties. If I've got all the pelicans, there's no crocodiles. And that's my method.
You see the turtle?
I think the camera picks up the turtle.
I'm out of food now, so the pelicans are all going to take off, but that got pretty hectic and I didn't do much talking, so if anyone's got any questions, feel free to come and ask.
They're gone now.
Big,
It's
big fish.
10:23 as well, so if you guys... Yeah, we think about 15, but they stay away. They used to have some little ones that they would...
The birds you can find here in our top end. So if you haven't been here before, that's what we do. The birds in our show are little ambassadors for their species, and most of them have been rescued. So we get to share them with you, and this is their second life here. And those who have been here before, welcome back. Cool. All right, let's get into it. So during the show, I'm going to have some birds fly quite low over your heads. It's a really fun time. We just ask that you stay seated, try not to reach up, all those things, so the birds feel nice and comfortable. I'll need you to stay behind that red line, and I'm going to come and join you for one of our birds. And if anyone gets a bit wriggly, because that's what happens when you're little, even when you're big, we need people to wiggle off that way. So no going down here, that's a flight path for raptors. So, yep. Unless you want a bit of a break from the kids, I suggest you take them down that way. All right, well, let's get into it. So our top end is an area that goes pretty much from our coastlines or Darwin down to roughly about Katherine. And throughout that area, like if we drew an imaginary line across the NT where Katherine is, anything north of that is our top end. And we love it, but then we have others that like to explore. And you'll see them exploring through our treetops. Sometimes you'll hear them getting out and about. Now, it's very essential that our pollinators get out and about. And these are our red-coloured lorikeets. Surprisingly, they blend in when they land in the trees. They look like a flower, and their tail and wings look a bit like leaves, don't they? Who would have thought something so colourful was camouflage? But they are busy feeding on nectar and fruit. They've got a brush-like tongue, so lots of surface area, helping them absorb nectar and fruits. But as they cruise around, they're getting pollen on their feathers, making a big old mess amongst that flower, and that's perfect. That's what we want. So far now, nervous, that's all right. So barn-owls use hollows not just for nesting in, they can have up to 4 babies in a hollow. They also use the hollow as a bedroom. a bit like a cubby house. Hollow is. Who likes cubby houses? Adults? Yeah, cool. How good are cubby houses? Well, the hollow's a little bit like that. It's a safe place to hide away. Okay. If you guys just move back 1 metre, I reckon I could get into that perch right above your head. Thank you. Well, barn owls are predominantly nocturnal. The opportunity to feed's popped up right now, so that's typical of a barn owl. They can wake during the day to feed. All right. Now, their favourite prey is active at night, and that really makes sense to be awake when they are. You're okay. He likes mice and rats. It's all good. So they are what we call a rodent specialist. So what's happened over time is when they're honing in on one prey, over the generations, thousands of years, whatever bodily features are working really well are obviously going to get passed on to their young. And then what we have is the ultimate specialist. So designed to locate prey, designed to locate prey and to sneak up on them. So let's have a look at what makes them very good at what they do. Now that beautiful face is dedicated to hearing, capturing sound, and the feathers are perfectly arranged to channel sound into their ears. Now we can't see their ears, but it's just between the eye and the edge of that facial disc. And if there was no feathers, you'd see that the left ear is a little bit higher than the right ear. And that's a good thing. But not just hearing, they can pinpoint exactly where it's coming from and over a large distance. So quite amazing. What's happening today, isn't it? A bit nervous. It's all right. So they need to sneak up on their prey too, because mice and rats have pretty good hearing. Let's have a listen. Oh, who owns that little guy right there? Thank you. Another bird's nest. So today we're going to have a look at a pheasant cuckoo. Hello. Good job. And this is the only member of the cuckoo family. Can you look after this little guy? Cheers. Only member of the cuckoo family that builds their own nest and rears their own young. So, here in Australia anyway. These guys are predominantly a ground dweller, so cruising around through the thick vegetation. And if they're lucky enough to come across a reptile or a mammal, that would be great. But most often it's insects. They'll flush them out, fly up, snatch them out of the sky and then scurry on back. They're quite nervous by nature, the pheasant cuckoo, and highly likely to take off today. You going to stick with me for a bit? Yeah, come on. You love peas and worms. So let's just keep them coming, hey? And make it all nice and positive. So we've got short, rounded off wings, not getting a lot of lift with that, but that's okay. They've got an amazing long tail, don't they? And that's what they're using to steer. So once they are up in the air, are you ready? Too high, sorry. They They can manoeuvre very, very well, even when they're running along. Be brave, stay with me. Come on, I got you. You okay? Come on. Come on, little guy. Coming up here. Good job. So we've just come out of the breeding season, and they've changed their feathers. So they breed in the wet, which is quite unusual, but then their babies get to feed on all the insects that are happening right about now. So definitely preferring the undergrowth. He's feeling a bit vulnerable, so we'll let him head off home now. You're a funny little dude. Very intelligent, very suspicious. And usually that's all you'll see of them. Darting across the road potentially. Where is it? Oh, there he is. Hello, Nook. Hello, Nook. Nook is rescued from Nooka. Now, Nook is an emu, and we know that they can't fly. If I'm very gentle, he might show us his little wing. There it is. Just to prove you're a bird. Now, evolution hasn't got rid of that, potentially because there are quite a few blood vessels close to the surface. Cool off a bit with that. But never mind, they've got these amazing legs and they can run up to about 50 k's an hour, so doing pretty well. And when Nookie is a bit excited, he's only got really a few ways to express his emotions, and a good kick in the air when he's happy, it just proves that they'd have a great kick on them when they need it. But in the nesting world, emus don't build a nest, they kick a few sticks out of the way, and a female will come along and lay 8 to 15 eggs, but then it's the males that incubate them. And this is a black-breasted buzzard. Bit excited, she's holding onto her leather anklet today. But these raptors spend quite a lot of time on the ground. So their feet look a bit like a chicken's foot. They don't have really long talons like a lot of other raptors. And they've got a short tail, which is good. It's not getting wrecked on the ground. So using a tool to get into an egg is only shared by one other raptor in the world, and that's the Egyptian vulture. There, you could have picked a smaller rock. There we go. Good job. Now, we haven't had to teach her that, which is pretty amazing. It's something that's built into them, and she hasn't actually seen another bird do it. Thank you very much, Carol. Now, you probably won't ever get close enough to see their chicken-like feet, but another way to identify them out in the wild, they've got white patches in their wings. We call them windows. Now, they're closely related to kites, and we know kites are pretty clever too, aren't they? They are our most abundant raptor in Australia because they're not wasting time or energy, and therefore breeding, and there's lots of them. So black and whistling kites, you're going to be seeing them a lot at the moment. A little bit less common is this coastal kite, and it's the Brahminy. Very easy to identify with that coloration, aren't they? And he makes it look very easy, but he's a fishing kite. So that opens up a whole other range of food for him. And they'll have their babies around the mangrove habitats as well, because these mangroves are so essential. They're a fish nursery. And Brahmanis are just waiting for these small fish to pop up to the surface, and they can snatch them up without getting any feathers wet. And it's perfect, there's heaps of small fish schooling, and that's perfect for them. Even some of our deep sea fish will use the mangroves as a nursery. But kites, they've got something in common, and it's the ability to take prey out of the sky as well. Oh, hey, where did that go? Did he get it? Yep. Cool. If it lands on you, you get to throw it, alright? That's a bit of a perk, getting bits of meat thrown at you. Better still, eating it while you're flying. Isn't that a good idea? All of a sudden people want food to be thrown at them. And a great example of birds using their tail like a rudder. See that slight flickering? He's using that to steer quite a lot. Now, we've got massive tides in the top end, don't we? Now, when the tide goes out, he can then hunt on the mud flats, and there's huge areas of mud flats on a big spring tide. And he can make the most of little crabs and stuff out there, and mud skippers, things like that. Kites are real generalists, so they're not. They will be moving around, finding a billabong or a lagoon that they can call their own. Now she's a bird with a short tail, so she needs to use her wings to steer and to brake. But she's not exactly a black stork, is she? That's her name. The coloration is quite phenomenal. And her yellow eyes, it means that she's a mature female. And the males will have a black eye. Now, she's not a raptor, so not using the feet, but definitely using that beak. That beak is an absolute weapon. And she, like most of the birds we've seen today, so a bit like a flying tackle box, if you like. The osprey has it all. The ultimate fisherman. His talons are like fish hooks, ridiculously long and curved and sharp to help him hold on, because he's carrying fish his own body weight, and no other raptor can lift their own body weight. Also, an overactive oil gland on his back, he can use that to preen his feathers. Oh, there's a belly flop today, Aussie. So they're our only diving raptors in the world. And very private when it comes to eating, because it's quite prone to getting their food stolen. As you can imagine, getting around with a fish the same size as you is attracts a lot of attention. But I could talk all day about them. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. Enjoy your day. And stay hydrated. All right, couple of options. If you're heading back out, that's the way to go. But if you want to hang out with us a bit longer, we've got a little hollow garden, some plant suggestions and how to build different nest boxes. And I'm going to be down under that shade sail in about 4 minutes with another bird. Thank you so much.
Huh?
Follow me. Oh, all right. Give me. Quick. Okay. Yeah. We go back to feed wallaby. This is a fake one. The real one inside. Yeah, that's Mr. K. Yeah. Now it's nearly 1 o'clock. It's very hot. It's very. Oh.
Should we see him?
Go there. Have one lying down on the tree. Oh, here too. Hey, baby. How are you? There's one here.
Bloody hope they don't bite.
So cool. So cool.
I don't know why you can't pat them on the head.
Nah. Just do the same with the tail. Yeah.
Just go look at that one.
And we got another one. Hey,
Ain't gonna hurt you. Ain't gonna hurt you.
Jennifer. You is Jennifer, yeah? How are you? Oh.
Oh.
Oh. You're not friendly, yeah? Oh, sorry. I know you're
You think not?
careful.
Oh, he's peeing. Okay, leave that one.
Someone say, I'm past this because they just got a wee. Okay, bye. See you later. Quite cool, yeah? Yeah. Come on, let's go. We'll find some next one again. Yeah. Maybe somewhere along here because it's so hot.
Yeah.
They like to hiding under tree to make nice and cool down. Yeah. Be somewhere along here. If you keep an eye, you will see. Yeah, you will see. Nothing on this side. Walk in the front. Yeah. Nothing from here. No. Oh, that one over there. Hello, beautiful. How come you by yourself? Where are your friends?
It's a small one.
Hmm.
Do you reckon we get him in the backpack?
Where you want to put? In the balcony?
Yeah.
Oh, another one coming. The thing we got food. That's why they're coming. Come here, Charlie. You name Charlie now. Come on, come to your daddy.
Think you'll take it?
Yeah. Yeah, they're coming. You back, move back, move back. Let them follow you.
I don't know. It's not a dog, is it? I don't know.
That's cool. Very good, eh? Put your backpack here. My stick on the floor.
There you go. I'll record you.
No, I'm okay. I want to see some more. said put your backpack here and then you're not.
It's okay.
But that one, the one we just walk past and we walk through, that is very, very natural, very, very good. Yeah.
Yeah, the camera's burning.
Yeah. What's coming?
Oh, yeah.
Come on then.
Oh, big one. Give him a Cheeto. He's looking in your pockets.
Yeah, I only have crib.
He's a big one.
Oh, yeah? You like it, yeah? I only got, oh, it got banana. They eat banana?
Yeah.
Want it?
Don't see why not. Oh, he's going. Look,
Yeah, yeah.
look, what's this?
This it, this it. Yeah,
Show
yeah.
him. Open it.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a bit. Look. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he loves
Yeah,
banana.
you love banana.
Oh wait, maybe not. He's still eating it. Eating the, I don't think he's ever had a banana before.
Oh.
I hate that sound. Yeah, don't bite my finger.
They grab two hands too. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Be careful. Don't stand up. Oh, the tree. Oh, over there too.
Where? He's even bigger, isn't he?
You do that. Oh, the train coming.
Come on.
Oh, good.
At least they've moved. I reckon they've moved from that rock pile to the next. Yeah, there he is. On top of the rock there. There's River posing for everyone.
That's it.
He's pretty cute.
Oh,
He's having a lazy day today. Must have had a big night. So there is two dingoes in there. So Leia, his sister will be somewhere in there. She's a bit more shy though. So yeah, you can always walk back and have a closer look and get a few photos of him.
yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll go see these stingrays now. See the dingoes on the walk back and then the aquarium.
So yeah, I'll drop you off at this show and the train will be back around in half an hour to pick you up again and take you back to the main station if you wanted.
Oh, this is it?
On the left hand side here, the Uru standby presentation. So Mark, the aquarium keeper, be here shortly.
Okay, there's no road.
There's your rod.
Yeah. They probably swim right around it.
Alright, good afternoon everybody.
Hi.
How are you all doing? Good?
Oh, look.
Well, welcome to the Ulu Sandbar, guys. My name's Mark, one of the acrobates here on Park, and today it's my job to tell you a little bit about the sandbar and all the fish that are in it. Now, are we all locals here?
No.
No? Alright, well I'm going to guess that those who are locals are the ones who are wearing fishing shirts.
No, not really.
Oh, really? Alright, where else are we from?
Queensland.
Queensland,
Gold Coast.
Canberra,
Yeah.
SA, UK, you're a bit far from home. Anywhere else? Victoria. Alright, no one's from, what's the name, Tasmania or, did we say WA? No, drop the Tasmanians off. Too easy. Well, I'll get straight into it, guys. Now, the Ulu Sandbar here at the park, we tried to base it off the Ulu Sandbar crossing out at the Daly River. Absolutely beautiful out there. Wide variety of different birds, mammals, fish, reptiles. And all the fish that you can see here today can be found out at the Daly River. Now, I'll get in to hopefully my first fish. Anybody know what that fish's name is?
Barramundi.
You're close, that one's name is George. You are right though, these guys are our barramundi. And what I'm going to do here today is called a buff. Very scientific name, we named it exactly how it sounds. Now what's happening is the barramundi is opening their mouth as wide as they can, as fast as they can. It causes a big vacuum. Now, these guys don't have any teeth, so they don't have to worry about losing any fingers whilst doing this. They have very rough gums, kind of like sandpaper, but they're relying solely on that suction to catch their food. Come on in. Now, barramundi is an indigenous word, and it means large-scaled river fish, and you can see exactly why they get that name. Perfect, doing a good job here today. And barramundi is exclusive to Australia. So in regards to these guys overseas are known as Asian sea bass. So if you're at a supermarket and you see barramundi, you know that that fish has been raised here in Australia. It hasn't come from overseas. Whereas if you see Asian sea bass, you know it's come from overseas. So where you can, always try and shop locally, or get locally, as well as sustainably.
How old are these fish?
How old are these fish? So the big barra, they are over 15 years of age. So barramundi can live anywhere up to about 25 years. So if you do get one as a pet, they are a bit of a long-term commitment, and you can't keep them in a 4-foot fish tank. Unfortunately, you can't stunt these guys' growth. There we go. Now, fish is what is known as poikilothermic. So fish are poikilothermic, which means that their body temperature is the exact same temperature as their environment. We're endothermic, we can regulate our own body temperature. Reptiles, they are ectothermic, which means that they use the environment to regulate their body temperature, so they can be hotter or colder than their environment. But fish, they are the exact same temperature, which means the temperature of the water influences how hungry that they are. So during the dry season, these guys aren't anywhere near as hungry as they are during the build-up and our wet season. That's because for every 5 degrees that the water temperature drops, a fish's metabolism will drop by about 50%. So they don't eat anywhere near as much during our dry, our colder time of year. For all the tourists, just this is the cold time of year for us. In the mornings, us locals are slowly starting to put jumpers on in the mornings. So we regulate these guys' food depending on how hungry that they are. Hello. Now, barramundi start off life as male before changing to female. So they spend the first few years of their life maturing, becoming a breeding male, then they'll breed a few seasons as a male before changing to female. Now they change to female when they have access to salt water. So they never go to salt water, they'll never change to female. Luckily for them, breeding generally happens in a saltwater environment. Now this is where our fishing regulations come in to protect their life cycle. So under 55 centimetres you have to throw these guys back. And over 90 centimetres we ask you to throw them back as well. Over 90 centimetres, those are our big breeding females. Now those are really important because does anybody want to take a guess how many eggs a single female barramundi can lay in one breeding season? Yeah?
20?
20. A lot more than 20. Think in the millions, guys. 20 million? Getting close. Yeah?
150?
10 down. Up to 40 million eggs in one breeding season. That's a lot of eggs. Nobody sounds impressed here. I'd like to see you guys try to lay 40 million eggs. But no, up to 40 million eggs, and that's because absolutely everything loves eating barramundi eggs. Come on. There we go. So those eggs are a fully formed fish and hatch within 24 hours of being laid. Then they'll swim into our mangroves. Our mangroves are really, really important for fish because they act as a fish nursery. All those roots protect those little babies. Hopefully they can grow up to be a nice big barra, just like these guys. Coming up? There we go. Now, has everybody here heard of the $1 Million Barra competition? Hands up if you have. Hands up if you haven't. Hands up if you just don't care. For those who haven't, it's where for the last about 6-7 seasons we've released tags barramundi. They have either $1 million tags, $10,000 tags, or they have special prize tags. Now, last season, the one that's just passed was the most successful one that I know of so far. $160,000 worth of fish was caught. That's quite a lot. And it's a great competition getting tourists up here to the top end. A guy did catch the $1 Million Barra. This was a few years back at the start. Unfortunately for him, he caught the $1 Million fish from the year before's competition.
Oh no!
Very, very unlucky. Do you think he got a prize for that? Yes? For catching the $1 Million fish, Channel 9 was generous. They gave him a Channel 9 fishing shirt. Very, very generous. Now, to add insult to injury, the very next season, they added the rule that if the $1 Million fish isn't caught, it rolls on to the next year's competition.
Oh.
So that's why this year there was $8 million fish swimming around. Last season there was only 6. They released another 2 this year.
Wow.
So, and also for anybody who does like to go out fishing, if you're not aware, the $1 Million Barra competition generally only runs the wet season. But because the $1 Million fish haven't been caught, they've said that if the $1 Million fish is caught outside the normal competition time, they're still going to pay out the $1 million. So for all the locals, get out fishing. You might have a very, very lucky time. Alrighty, does anybody have any questions on our barramundi? Yeah?
How big? No, how heavy can they get?
How heavy can they get? I've weighed a really big barramundi and it was about 30 kilograms. That was a very well-fed barramundi. Did we know that there's 7 different species?
No.
Barramundi, Barra Tuesday, Barra Wednesday. Just making sure everybody's paying attention.
So these ones will never breed then because they're in fresh water?
These are ex-aquaculture stock, so they've come from Darwin Aquaculture Centre. The big girls, they're too old to breed now, so they've come for their retirement here. And the few, I think we may have 1 or 2 males in here. They won't change to female.
Do they usually get this fat in the wild?
I don't think that in the wild they get this well fed. So yeah, you won't find too many huge beasts like these guys out there. Alright, I'll get on to one of our most charismatic fish here in the sandbar. These guys are our archerfish. These guys are the common archerfish or 7-spot archerfish. There's 14 different species, all have this amazing adaptation, and they know how to do this from quite a young age.
I'm sorry.
Now, when they're younger, they have absolutely terrible aim. What they'll do is they'll watch the other older archfish, as well as through trial and error, so they get to how they are today. Because they have to account for light refraction. When light hits the water, it bends. So a lot of practice goes into it. The way that they shoot is they stick their snout out of the water, push their tongue against the roof of their mouth, and then snap their gill covers shut. So they can shoot anywhere between about 2 to 4 metres. Pretty much 100% accurate up to about a metre, metre and a half, once they get their eye in. And in the wild, only about 40% of the time do they actually get to eat what they spit off. And that's because all the other archfish are hanging around trying to steal their food. So we try our best to reward the one that spits for us. But sometimes it does get stolen. Now, as you can see, if it's close enough to the water, they'll also jump out for it. See if I can get a few more spits. Let's go for a high one, guys. There we go. Awesome. Ah, you sharks. You got your food sharked. Now, they can recognise up to about 40 different faces. A university did a study and found out. So, it actually explains why one of the other actors here, when he comes in and does this talk, he has to wear sunglasses, because the archfish, they don't aim for the food, they aim for his eye. They don't like him very much. He must have said something during the talk that they weren't happy with. A very, very charismatic fish. If I talk about the barramundi for too long, they'll sneak up behind me and shoot me in the back of the head with water. Pretty much telling me to hurry up. If I don't listen to that, they'll continue to come around the front and then spit me in the eye with water. Very, very cheeky fish. Do we have any questions on them? Yeah, buddy?
Also, how big can they get?
How big can they get? Up to about 40 centimetres, but on average they get to about 25 centimetres. So these are pretty big archfish for their standard. I had a really, really good hard question once, which I could not answer. A 10-year-old asked, which I reckon that his parents put him up to this. What is the velocity of the archerfish's spit? Now, I don't think there's any research done on that yet. So the best answer I could give him was, it won't kill you, but if it hurts if it hits you in the eye. And I asked him if when he grows up, could he please go and do his PhD on that. Cool, well, I'll move on from our archfish to our tarpon. So these bluey, greeny fish with the forked tail. Now, they have a really, really cool adaptation. They can breathe air. So their swim bladder, which what helps a fish regulate its buoyancy in the water, can be used as a very primitive form of lung. Now, the reason why they have this is because life in our top-end waters is quite tough, and our oxygen levels fluctuate, especially during the dry season. So the lowest amount of oxygen every day in the water is at 6 AM, highest amount is at 6 PM. And that's because during the night, the plants are taking oxygen out of the water as well as the fish, and during the day the plants are then photosynthesizing, pumping oxygen back into the water. Now, natural fish kills occur, things such as your archfish, barramundi, they'll go belly up. Tarpon won't, because they'll just come up to the surface, take regular breaths of air, then go back down and keep on swimming. Which means that this species is also a very good environmental indicator for us. If we see a whole school of tarpon belly up, we know that's not because of a natural fish kill. There could be toxins or pollutions going into that water. So if you do see a school of fish belly up on our waterways, please let NT Fisheries know. They'll go down, investigate what the problem is, hopefully restore that waterway to how it should be. Now, I can't see her at the moment, maybe because of the glare. We have 2 Saratoga in here as well. They're a long dragon looking like fish. And we have fossil records dating back to when the dinosaurs were around. Still can't see it there. They're a very successful fish because unlike our barramundi, they are very maternal in terms of they're called mouth brooders. When they have eggs, the dad holds the eggs in his mouth. He won't eat for the entire time he has those eggs, which can be up to about 75 days. Then once they hatch, he'll continue to hold his eggs the babies in his mouth until they're too big and have to fend for themselves. But obviously this guy wants me to talk about the next fish, which is our Australian freshwater whip rays. Did we know that we had freshwater rays here in Australia before coming here today? Yes and no, a few of you did. These guys, they were only scientifically discovered in 1989 in the Daly River and described as their own species in 2008. They're our only species of ray that lives their entire life in fresh water here in Australia. Now around the world there is about 600 different species of rays. There's only about 35 different species of freshwater ray. So I find it very special we have one here in Australia that we're still learning so much about. Where they live is places such as the Adelaide River, the Daly River, South Alligator, East Alligator, all those kind of big waterways here in the territory, but can also be found in Western Australia and Queensland. What do all those waterways have in common? That I know?
Water.
Crocodiles, a very, very high density of saltwater crocodiles.
Water.
So for some reason, our researchers don't want to do dive research with them. What they're doing is tracking research. So that's how we know that they are our only species that can live their entire life in fresh water. But they have also been found to venture into brackish water, which is a mix of fresh and salt, where our large rivers meet the ocean. Hey buddy.
Has any of them been attacked by a crocodile?
Sorry?
Has any of them been attacked by a crocodile or eaten by a crocodile?
Yep, so that's one of the predators of these guys. They've been found on the banks of rivers with whip rays in their mouth, as well as bull sharks. Bull sharks are the other predator. Now what I'm getting to do is completely natural. In the wild they drive fish towards the banks. Once they get to the banks they turn around, swim straight underneath our rays, and our rays trap them under that large disc-like body, which is pretty much pure muscle. Now their eyes are on top of their head, mouth is directly underneath those eyes. So when they are hunting, they will be using their eyesight to a certain point, but what they're mainly relying on is electroreceptors or electrosensors on the underside of their body. Now these pick up any electrical signal that their prey gives off, so a heartbeat as well as muscle movements all give off an electrical signal. So they can even find things such as crustaceans that are buried underneath the sand or in the mud. Now being a bottom feeder, they are going to be also sucking up things that they don't want to eat, so they have behind their eyes two holes called spiracles. Anything that they don't want to eat, they spit straight out of those two holes. They're their own inbuilt filtration system. So when the next one comes up, I'll try and point that out. And I'll point out where their eyes are as well. Yeah, why not?
Is that silver thing?
Yeah, one. So you can kind of see it as they're swimming. That's the spherical, eyes directly in front there.
Oh, he's driving him
And
up
you'll see it
against the
there, you
bank.
go, spitting out some sand and some water as just took that fish. Now they are a member of your elasmobranch family, which is sharks, skates, rays and sawfish. All those species are cartilaginous, which means that their skeleton is made out of cartilage, not bone like ours. And has anybody heard that sharks feel like sandpaper?
Yes.
Yeah? That's because sharks are covered in denticles, little bumps, and on sharks they face backwards. So if you pat a shark from nose to tail, they feel quite smooth. From tail to nose, quite rough. So I don't recommend going and finding out for yourself though. But these guys, on the top of their body, they're covered in those denticles, so it makes them feel a little bit like sandpaper. But underneath, they're quite soft and smooth.
He's driving you up against the bank.
So you can see them really well here, those denticles.
He doesn't like
Now, as I mentioned before, their predators are things such as bull sharks as well as saltwater crocodiles. To defend themselves, they do have a barb. Sits at the base of their tail, gets to about 12 to 15 centimeters long, and is also covered in a venomous mucus. It's a protein-based venom designed to put that predator in an extreme amount of pain. Pretty much tells the predator, don't come back for a second go. Now, a lot of people have a fear of a ray because they think that they're out to barb them. These guys don't want to barb you. They want to keep it for their predators, but also want to keep it as long as they can. They will get out of your way or out of the predator's way if they can, because if that barb breaks off, if they use it, it takes a year for it to grow back. So they could be defenseless for up to a year, and they definitely don't want that. So they try their best not to use their barb. They only use it in life or death situations, and most of the time when people get barbed, it's by accidentally standing on the ray. So the way you can avoid that is if you are at a beach where you think rays are around, instead of taking big steps in the water, just shuffle your feet along the bottom. That way you'll bump into the ray, they'll swim off, or they'll feel the vibrations before you even get there, and off they go. So that's one way. Another way is you can wear sunscreen, because sunscreen protects you from harmful rays. Just making sure everyone's still listening. Now, they're definitely not something to be feared. I compare these guys to big wet puppy dogs, especially golden retrievers. Has anybody here got a golden retriever? Yep. So you know of golden retrievers, they look really graceful when they're running, then they run into something. Same with these guys, they look very graceful swimming through the water, then occasionally they'll just bump into something. Now not only that, they are bottomless pits. They keep on eating and eating and eating, so we have to make sure we regulate the food to keep them a pancake, not a beach volleyball. And also they can be quite tactile, so they don't mind a bit of a scratch on their head, on their back. I've had a ray sit with me for about 10 minutes while I've just been giving it scratches between the eyes. So they definitely have a bad rap ever since what happened to Steve Irwin. That would have been a very, very high stress situation for that ray, and it thought it probably couldn't get away, so that's why it used this barb. But to give you an insight to how many people have actually died by a ray barb, 2. Only 2. First one was Steve Irwin. Second one was an elderly gentleman who, when he got barbed, it can bring on cardiovascular effects. So what happened to him was he died from a heart attack. So very, very unfortunate for him. If you do get barbed by a ray, first aid's hot water. Because if you introduce protein to heat, it breaks apart. Introduce hot water to a protein-based venom should neutralize that venom. Do not pull out the barb. It has backwards facing teeth designed to keep it in there. There we go. Get to the hospital, let them surgically remove it for you. Then they'll get you on the right antibiotics because it also has quite a bit of bacteria on there too. Thanks. So here comes Geraldine. I'll get her to show off where that barb sits. So sits just there. So, as you can see, it definitely wouldn't be a fun time to get barbed by. As long as you give these guys the respect that they deserve, they'll give you the respect that you deserve. Anyway guys, that's all I've got for you today. At 1:40 the trainer will be coming to take you wherever you would like to go. If you haven't been to the aquarium, 5-minute walk that way. It's nice and air conditioned. And then otherwise you can catch the train to the main station. You can walk to Goose Lagoon. See the dingoes back that way as well. If you liked my talk, my name is Mark. If you didn't, my name is Michael. Just remember which is which for when you're given the review. Enjoy the rest of your day here at the park. Thank you very much for sticking around. Thanks, guys. How are we doing? I thought that was a recognisable face.
Hot here. We walk back now to the aquarium, see the dingoes on the way, hopefully. Whew. I think. Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're waiting for the photo. I think I don't need a photo. I got all packing at work. Dingo.
Yeah.
They're not come one like this.
Get that all around.
No, I've got one in our campsite.
Yes. Kings Canyon.
Don't know where the other one is.
They say they have two, eh?
Yeah.
I see one. Probably some that are hiding.
Okay, ready? And there goes another bus, train. Yeah, aquarium.
Last one, yeah? They have one in there. That time.
Hmm? Giant clams. This is the aquarium. There's a crocodile in here too somewhere. Knit Malo. Yeah, we've been here.
Yeah, we've been there already.
Twin Falls.
Last year. Yeah, we went there last year.
That
one
is in Catherine. We haven't been there.
No, we've not been there yet. And this one.
We haven't been there either.
Not been there yet.
Oh look.
This seems like a big tank. Oh, look like a catfish.
Hmm.
That look like catfish. And the little turtle. That. The little noise, small fish, small fish.
Hey, look at this.
Oh, here we go. See that? Oh yeah.
You can see his head sticking out.
For the air.
I think they got a big one. I'm sure it was a big one, not.
Okay.
Just have a quick look through here. Oh my god, what is that? Is that a barramundi?
I'm not too sure. It's
This has got to be like magnified glass or something. That's like 6 foot long. Look at it. Jesus. Hey. I'm sure there's a crocodile in here.
probably only one. The one is just passed.
Approximately around the may not be safe now.
Keep this in mind at all times. Hold back from any crocodile slide marks, as crocodiles may still be close by. Can't burl back from the water. Don't let your dogs near the water, as they will attract crocodiles. And stay away from the water's edge when fishing.
Len.
Large dangerous crocodiles are in
Oh,
the
there.
so always be wary of the dangers of
That's a monster lying down over there.
Don't look half as big on the camera. No. Probably 14 foot, 13 foot.
If a waterway is not marked safe for swimming, there still may be crocodiles. Check for a sign. If there isn't one, don't swim or into the water. Remember, you're risking your life if you go in water that isn't marked safe for swimming. It's just not worth it.
Oh, look at the tiny jellyfish. Jellyfish.
Really?
Yeah.
แฟนบอกว่า jellyfish ค่ะ โอ้น่ารักขนาดนี้ Oh my god
Oh, look at the ray.
Oh yeah
Bloody hell. Oh, he's moving.
My goodness. You look the color in my camera. It look different. Probably from the tank.
Come look at this.
Look the color different. Oh, this is a colorful one ค่ะ อันนี้ colorful one. Oh, tank fish ที่บ้านก็มีนะมันจะสวย
It's just knitting of seafood, sea stuff, isn't it?
โอเคเสร็จแล้วค่ะแล้วก็มา outdoor แล้ว done
Just leaving the aquarium. After sitting down for a bit to catch up. We should be in there. Walking that path, not on the road. And we're going to walk back along the track to the bird aviary. Towards the bird aviaries. Lynn's feeling tired. Finches.
That's a baby. Big snake here. Yeah.
Oh, didn't see that.
And spider.
Yeah. Monitor lizard and snapping turtle. Oh yeah. You're quite good at spotting them. That's good. This is what I was hoping for. It's like Jurassic Park without the dinosaurs. This is cool. Oh, you want some water?
Buffalo might be at the back somewhere. So that's where their wallow is. You might be able to just see the edge of it. I reckon they've gone back sooking into the bush, so maybe on one of the other trains you come across you might be able to see one. So the biggest one in here is a girl named Flo, and she weighs about 600 kilos, so she's a pretty decent sized animal. We do have a few.
You like their swimming pool, kids? Did you swim in there? Oh, it's quite muddy, isn't it? They love it. Look, they cover themselves in mud. Help them cool down, keep the mozzies off them. So that's what they do in all our creeks and floodplains there. They make it unlivable, unfortunately.
Confetti, yeah?